Tingling Studios.
Welcome back to Laughing in the Dark, the podcast where I hang out in haunted places with comedians. For this episode, I got to hang out with Detroit comic Zach Martina. Thus far, life has exceeded the expectations of Zach Martina. Zach loves his wife, his daughters are a constant source of inspiration, and his hair is real. Also worth noting when viewing his stand-up act, he's not angry. He's just passionate about the inane topics he chooses to ponder out loud. Just to be clear, he's not screaming. He's making sure you can hear him. Zach brings his big energy to crowds across America, delivering dark jokes in a delightful manner while pointing the finger of blame at everyone except himself. In addition to his debut album, Skunk Man, regularly spinning on Sirius and XM radio, you may have heard him on The Bonfire with Big J. Okerson and Dan Soder, or the hit podcast Dumb People Town with the Sklar Brothers and Daniel Van Kirk. He's performed at part of Rock on the Range and the Best of the Midwest at Gilda's Laugh Fest, among others. He's shared the stage with the likes of Rory Scovel, Big J. Okerson, the Sklar Brothers, Chad Daniels, Joe List, and Sean Patton. He hopes you like him. Then maybe more people will like him, and those closest to him will stop calling comedy his hobby. Zach and I got to visit the abandoned Eloise Psychiatric Asylum in Detroit. We were guided by Jeff Adkins of the Detroit Paranormal Expeditions, and we had so much fun, it's ridiculous. As always, be sure to check out the Instagram for pictures that go along with this episode. You can find us with the handle @LitDarkPodcast. Here's the episode. I hope you have fun. So, we are in the basement.
We are in an elevator.
Yeah, we are in an elevator shaft in the basement of the Eloise Psychiatric Asylum in Detroit, Michigan.
And it's not even it's an elevator with a caged door.
It's like those old metal elevator doors.
It's like what the Tower of Terror was themed on.
Yes. Oh my God, I was totally thinking of that too.
It's creepy as hell. I'm not claustrophobic, and I'm not claustrophobic right now, but it just feels so different.
Yeah, it definitely. I love the echoing.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of adding to it.
There's a hole here too that you can see the entire elevator shaft.
Yeah, that goes up into the ceiling. Yeah, this is a very awesome place. And again, it's in the basement. So to walk down here, we went through a hallway of just chipping paint and like rooms. There's like an old kitchen that there's still like the kitchen materials.
Yeah, the
Equipment, yeah, from the kitchen. So you can see it's like time stopped. And there's graffiti on the walls of like vandals have come in here and Don was here.
Who they're also not creative at all. Like if you're breaking into this place, which they have boarded up, and you're gonna take a graffiti can to the walls and you're just gonna say Don was here.
And not only Don was here, but it's like covering an entire wall. It's like a 10-foot by like 7-foot.
Don's that asshole who ruined yearbooks in high school. He's like, oh my God, I want other people to sign that.
Tags like all over the whole page.
Such a big crack. I'm signing your crack.
Yes. Oh my God, that's totally Don. Hey Don, if you're listening, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a little more creative. This is ridiculous.
But he's also the guy that types papers in like an 8-point font. You just can't.
And wait, 8 points? So he has to write more?
Yeah. He's got a lot to say in the written word.
More than Don was here.
No, it's just Don was here.
I was going to say, with how big that graffiti was, I thought he was writing papers in like 40-point font.
It's Jack in The Shining.
Don was here. Yeah, 100 times over and over again. Don was a good boy.
Oh, man. It was Jack Torrance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the whole thing about, something about Like being a good boy.
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yes. All work and no play makes Don a good boy. A dull boy. Whatever. All right, great. So we're in the basement of the Eloise. It's definitely creepy down here. We can't wait to go check out other floors of this place. But yeah, the paint is just chipping. It's
beautiful though. Like imagine a piñata. You know, like the crepe paper that kind of just flails off it just ever so nicely. Yeah. That's what these walls look like.
Like it's flaking off.
It's oddly beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's very, very cool. And I think especially, I've never done an episode in an elevator shaft. And to close the doors of it, it just feels very like claustrophobic and perfect.
I'll let you open it because you'll see the effort that went into it. It's
yeah, it seems
like you're committing to something.
Yeah, you're like, listen, I've made a commitment.
Yeah,
it's time to shut this door. But I love it and then there's also that like feeling of like, what if this moves a floor up?
I'm already imagining it. If it moves, I mean, I'm seeing lights. I'm seeing everything come on. I'm seeing us back in its heyday of operation.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm seeing an alternate reality, and I will not come back from that.
No. Well, we'll just end up lounging around the Eloise, and people will be like, they went crazy when they went in there. But really, we're like taking our pills. It's like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
It says Don was here, but then we're like, so was Sara and Zach.
Listen to Laughing in the Dark. Damn. I think I have a Sharpie. We'll make it happen. No, we won't. Yeah, we will.
I don't know. Can we? Do you feel comfortable defacing?
Clearly Don does.
Don does. And we don't know what happened to Don.
No,
we don't know what happened to Don.
He might still be here.
Don's the caretaker of this place now.
Don is here.
Stop it. He's in this elevator. I can see Don is like a Macy's, like a Hudson's elevator operator with a little bellman's hat on and everything.
Still very Tower of Terror.
Yes, very much so.
Have you done that ride?
No, I was too afraid. I don't like haunted stuff that's not real.
I loved Tower of Terror as a kid. I did it when I went to Disney World. I went with my mom. And then once it was over, we're like, I want to do that again. But you have to wait in line for forever.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's Twilight Zone themed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I didn't know that as a kid, but I loved Twilight Zone growing up. So it was like, you wait in this line for forever, and then you get to it, and then you see Rod Serling on the TV, and I was like, oh my God, this is the best experience of my life.
With that music and everything? Mm-hmm. Oh, that is cool.
So it was very, very cool. And then they get you in this very old elevator, and then they tell you a ghost story, and so like you go really fast, but then the doors fling open, and you're like, oh, we're just in a room. And then they keep telling the story, and they're like, oh, these ghosts were blah, 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 blah.
So it just leads up to the drop?
You don't know when it's going to happen. Because every time the doors open, they open really fast, and you're like, it's going to happen. And then you're like, oh, no, we're back to the story. And then this is this. And then suddenly the doors open, you see the whole park, and the second you realize, like, oh, it's happening, you're dropping. It's so fun. Yeah, I highly recommend it. But that's totally how this feels, because we're literally sitting. How big is this elevator shaft?
I would say this elevator is probably 5 by 8.
Maybe, 5 by 8 is a good estimate. Just a very small, old-ass elevator with like...
I know you have international listeners too. 5 feet by 8 feet. I want to make sure that's clear.
Like 5 meters. Yeah, good point. Thank you for thinking of that. I never think of that shit. But yeah, and then the doors are like rusted... What's that? It's like accordion style doors.
Yeah, I don't know what you would call it. That's what that would be the best thing. Just a gate?
Yeah, it's a gated, like rusted accordion style old elevator door. Very, very cool.
In good condition too.
I mean, it's holding in there.
It's strong. Yeah, it's creepy.
I wouldn't call it state of the art.
No. It is art in its own sense. Let's make sure we give it appreciation.
Listen, it's 2019.
This is wild.
Yeah, you can see all the old buttons. Everything is like rusted out. Doesn't work anymore. All right, so let's get into it. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
The former Eloise Psychiatric Asylum is located in Westland, Michigan. Now a decrepit, abandoned building, the Eloise was once a psychiatric hospital housing patients, living quarters for nurses, and operating rooms where various procedures were carried out, such as electroconvulsive therapy. Just a little personal note here about ECT and mental health. Electroconvulsive therapy is typically mentioned at places like this. I think it's mostly to evoke a sense of fear. I was just talking about like how whenever you go to like a haunted place, they're like, oh, electroshock therapy was used here. then even I fall for this. After all, the imagery that electroconvulsive therapy evokes is undeniably scary. However, many people don't know that electroconvulsive therapy is still carried out to this day.
People speak. I mean, I've heard interviews lately with people who are like, no, that really worked for me. But back in the day, they were just, let's crank it up to 10 and go.
Yeah,
right?
just fry them. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But just in case anybody doesn't know, ECT or electroconvulsive therapy is a very brief procedure where the application of an electric stimulus is used to produce a generalized seizure. In the 40s and 50s, ECT was used with people that suffered from profound mental illness. Today, it is still used on an estimated 100,000 people a year, generally for those with severe depression, acute mania, and certain schizophrenic syndromes. It is used with patients who are suicidal who, due to safety concerns, cannot wait for the effect of an antidepressant medication. As opposed to the traditional terrifying image you've probably seen in movies like Requiem for a Dream, ECT treatment in reality is much more mild and controlled. A patient is generally given general anesthesia and a muscle relaxant. Electrodes are then attached to their scalp, where an electric current causes a brief convulsion.
You make it sound like it's like an expensive, real nice spa treatment. You're like, if you go for the $250
I think I'm gonna do the ECT
shock package, those pores are gonna open right up, and your brain will be just anew with feelings.
They're just like, I shouldn't, but you know what? It's a me day.
You know what? It is Wednesday, and this is a treat yourself day.
Listen, yeah, exactly. Sometimes you just have to do something for yourself, you know, ladies?
Throw them on my temples.
I'm doing it. I'm just gonna do it. Yeah, exactly.
Like a real natural facelift. It just pulls the face back. Can you keep that? I like that.
Love it. And also, I don't remember shit. The patient wakes up only a few minutes later, generally lacking memory of the events surrounding the treatments. However, even if it isn't as sensationalized as the movies or our imaginations might make it out to be, after more than 60 years of use, ECT is still controversial as a psychiatric treatment. The controversy. That's
a Halloween themed chocolate bar. It's the Hershey's controversy.
Is it Halloween themed or is it like a political themed? Like it's election time controversy. Controversy kisses.
That is so appropriate with the politicians today.
I know. Exactly.
Controversy kisses. That's a shirt. Got right there.
Yeah. Trademark. The controversy generally surrounds the question of the treatment's effectiveness versus the side effects, which can include permanent memory loss and confusion. For this reason, ECT is recommended only as a last-minute resort. As someone who researches the paranormal regularly for my career, I often see electroshock therapy coming up, especially in places like this, when you're like in an old, abandoned psychiatric asylum.
No, they did it right here in this elevator. They just jacked into this. These
That's what those buttons are for.
That's actually, there is no 6th floor. That's just shock.
They press it 3 times. 666. Welcome to the real world, bitches.
That's the point. The elevator starts moving.
That was me banging on the wall. That was. I said, so yeah, this comes up all the time, and I feel like I said, forgive the pun. But I feel like this is generally used just for the shock value. Yeah, I hate myself. Yeah.
I mean, but your editor can cut that.
Don't worry. At least you edit this. It'll be fine. Like, absolutely not. But it is. It's put in there for, honestly, the shock value, as much of a pun as it is. But it's really just used to be like, this is scary, they did electroshock. Yeah. And it's like, no, this is still being done today. And it's been, an effective treatment.
I think, these days, electroshock, especially with the awareness on mental health these days, I think electroshock is kind of destigmatized. And when people see it in the movies these days, they're like, that's not real.
Yeah.
That is so embellished.
Hopefully. I mean, I think a lot of people really respond negatively to that idea.
I give a lot of people credit for being intelligent that I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on me.
Sounds like it.
I don't believe in humanity. I don't know why I said that.
But you want to.
I want to, yes.
Yeah,
I have children. I want to believe in humanity.
Yeah, and you know what? They're gonna bring it back. I believe in them. I think, but seriously, I think we should be careful about how we talk about these things. When we allow treatments that are still being used to evoke images of horror, this perpetuates a dangerous stigma that can traumatize people who need this treatment, as well as their loved ones who watch them through it. So let's be mindful about how we talk about mental health, especially in a place like this.
For sure.
Yeah. The Eloise Psychiatric Asylum was named for Eloise Dickerson Davik. I'm sure I fucked that name.
Eloise is a haunting name.
It is.
It really is.
Isn't Eloise the name of like a little like London girl? Isn't it like a book? You have daughters.
Eloise? I believe I can't speak to the origin of the story, but I believe that is a protagonist in a children's story.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's like a thing. So this Eloise was the only child of a Detroit postmaster. The sprawling complex included an asylum, sanatorium, hospital, and cemetery. Honestly, I feel dumb wondering this, but I find myself, as I take these notes, wanting to know the difference between an asylum, sanatorium, and a hospital. Your thoughts?
Do you know asylum? I don't, but my first thought as a hospital hospital seems like you're going to go get medical treatment, like there's hope.
Yeah.
A sanitarium, I feel like is kind of like the halfway house version of that. Like, we're not sure that you're fixed, but I believe that you are. Yeah. And asylum is like, there's no hope for you. Yeah. You have to go somewhere. Yeah. That would be my assumption.
I think you're actually pretty close. I said, I'm sure some other listeners just as dumb as I am out there wonder the same thing. So here we go. Here's where the dictionary comes in.
I so badly wanted to know why that came in.
Don't worry, I got you, buddy. So an asylum is a dated term, but once meant an institution offering shelter and support to people who are mentally ill. We knew that. A sanatorium is an establishment for the medical treatment of people who have a chronic illness or are recovering from an illness or operation.
Okay.
Whereas most familiar of the terms, a hospital is defined as an institution providing medical and surgical treatment and nursing care for sick or injured people.
The definition of asylum, what asylum means to me, it just feels so much more hopeless. Yeah. Than what Merriam-Webster would have you believe.
Yeah. They're like, goodbye. Yeah. You're nuts. Yeah. I guess the reason it's confusing is because there's a distinction between the terms. Now I think hospital pretty well covers all three.
I would agree.
Anyway, so you guys just learned something probably, or not. Maybe all my listeners are like, fucking obviously.
We're going forward 15 seconds.
Yeah, I know this. The Eloise operated for over 100 years from 1839 to early 1982 when it was shut down. It has not been open to the public since then, unless you are fortunate enough to get a tour with the Detroit Paranormal Expedition. Today, the Eloise is 8 buildings and covers roughly 50 acres. When it was in operation, however, the Eloise spanned 902 acres across 70 buildings. It once inhabited 12,000 people. There was an on-site bakery and a slaughterhouse.
Wait, what? There was a bakery?
Yeah, and a slaughterhouse.
I can't. Well, I mean, I've seen the kitchen.
Sure.
We've seen the kitchen. The slaughterhouse and the bakery. The bakery seems unnecessary.
Yeah, well, you gotta eat bread. Eloise.
I know. As a man who is medically overweight, bakery, all I'm thinking are cakes and pies. I didn't even consider bread. I didn't even consider bread.
They don't eat cupcakes. They're crazy.
That's just regular. I mean, get them a pudding, sure. But
they didn't earn a cupcake.
I didn't consider bread even a little bit.
Oh my God. Amazing. It once even had its own police and fire department, a post office, cattle herds, a greenhouse, a cannery, and a tobacco field. The place literally even had its own zip code. There is one building on the property that was still being used until October of 2016 called the K. Beard Building. This was used as an office for Wayne County's Senior Services and Head Start program, but has been vacant over the past few years. The buildings that weren't being used were closed and razed, and large plots of land were sold to Ford Motor Company. Oh yeah, we're in Detroit. While other parts were developed into an 18-hole golf course, a strip mall, and condominiums.
And I'll tell you what, that is the toughest course to play. And that is because you are not alone out there.
They're just blowing your balls.
There's no breeze. It's a still day. But you're hooking balls.
For some reason. There's still a cemetery that was used by the hospital, also named Eloise, directly across the street. It's believed that over 7,000 former residents of the Eloise are laid to rest there.
You can't mess with that.
Well,
you can't mess with that.
We could. Right here.
Oh, boy.
Well, the thing is, if you were in this hospital and it was probably not rad, and then you died in this hospital, and then you got buried across the street from the hospital.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense why this place is fucking haunted.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with it but the real horrors, the thing is, you're buried across the street from the place that potentially put you through the ringer, just the most horrific things ever. Yeah. I wouldn't haunt where I lay. I feel like that would be this is where I'd be like, fuck that place. Yeah. I am not, I'm going to make, that's messed up.
But what if
right across the street?
Yeah, right across the street.
At least they marked the graves.
I don't know if they did.
Oh, shut up. Shut up.
I don't know. We'll have to ask our guy when we go back up there.
All right.
But what if they don't have a choice? What if the ghosts don't have a choice where they haunt? What if it's and I don't know. I don't know the answer. But what if it's...
I have this idea, and it's that I would love to live next door to a haunted house because...
Not in one.
Not in one.
No,
because you never hear the neighbor, ghosts respect property lines. That's what I've learned. You never hear of the neighbor being haunted. Where is it? It's so, she turned the light off. And I can't see.
I'm trying to preserve my battery life.
Oh my God.
I was listening.
That was so creepy.
I'm sorry.
We're in an elevator, Sarah. Oh my God.
But you were talking about ghosts respects the property line?
Yeah, I think I would say, listen, hypothetically, Eloise,
sure.
You keep the house terrifying so people don't buy it, and I'll tend the garden. I'll mow the lawn. I'll keep it looking nice outside.
Yeah.
I'll keep sending people in for you to haunt.
You want to be that old person, how did you see The Haunting of Hill House?
Yeah. I feel like this would be a great, this vibe would be a great season of that.
Oh my God, this would be a great season of, what's that other show?
American Horror Story?
American Horror Story.
They did the one Asylum, but they tried to do too much with it.
Okay.
It was a bad season.
Okay. Well, no, but in The Haunting of Hill House, the caregivers, that's what you want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to be on their side. Man. I want to be friends. I want to know what that house is capable of and protect it. I just don't leave me and my family alone.
Sure. But I'll be here just tending to the ground.
Yeah.
People don't come around here that much.
Zach, how did you get into gardening? Oh, it's a long hunting tale.
yeah, that's amazing. Actually, I got a ghost story call last season of a guy who was the next door neighbor of a haunted house, literally.
Really?
Yeah, and he would tell the stories of people would move in, and then they'd move out, and then they'd move in, and they some of them would tell me stories. I'd just be outside smoking my cigarettes, and they'd come up and I'd learn about all this shit. And over the years, he'd collected stories of his next door house. So he would watch people live there for a few months and then move out.
I live next door to a house that is said to be haunted. I cannot confirm or deny it, but in the time that I've lived there, 3 separate people have lived there. And I think that the first people lived there, that when we moved in, these people had lived there for 10 years, and they would confirm it eerie things happen, but they didn't put their house on the market. This is true. They didn't put their house on the market until I bumped into them at the mailbox. And as a comedian, I'm just in a robe at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I've got my finger in my belly button. And I'm not kidding. Within a day and a half, they had a for sale sign.
They're goodbye.
No, I can deal with the dead. I can't live with next to that.
You're
lunatic.
What's up, dude?
Yeah. I think I got some of your mail.
Sorry, I opened it. I was just curious.
Sorry, I got something in the mail. I opened it. It said you already won. I was hopeful.
Oh my God, amazing. All right. Wait.
I don't know what that is. It could just be pipes. That sounds like pipes.
Is that pipes?
I think that's pipes.
I don't know if that would be caught up by the microphone, so we should talk about what we just heard.
So I'm going to lean into a pipe and kind of try and recreate what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounded
like. That's what
like.
it was. I think it was pipes.
If
but
listeners could hear that, he was just banging on the metal wall of the side of the elevator shaft, but it was literally that sound. And yeah, maybe it's like water going through a pipe, but to what? There's no water running
and it
here.
Stopped
There's no water running here. Why would it be a pipe?
I don't know. I'm going to just keep trying to explain things.
Okay,
There's a logical explanation until there isn't.
It was shit, though.
It really was.
Amazing.
And I keep looking at this hole in the elevator like we are going to be attacked.
Yeah, there's like... Oh,
it's a plane. Okay, that's
Oh, yeah, you can see up to the top.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely looks like, what if like a creature just came out and
my
looked
concern.
at us and came
I played Resident Evil. I know what to look for.
Exactly. All right. Last year, the Wayne County Commission unanimously voted to sell the Eloise complex for a whopping $1.
To who?
Yeah, seriously. It's I didn't see exactly who it was to, but he was a good dude. It's actually pretty awesome that they did, because they asked the developers who bought this place, whatever their name is, you can find it on Google. I didn't write it down. They asked them to spend a minimum of $20 million to rehabilitate the decaying building and turn it into a low-income senior and family living center.
What?
Yeah. So they're actually in the middle. They're renovating this place to be
the place we're currently in.
Yeah. They're going to be. They haven't gone to yet.
It's a different place for people to go and die.
Well, yeah, senior living. That's a good point. Well, also it's like a low-income family housing.
Yeah.
A lot of haunted places do that. This Cecil Hotel in LA is doing that.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope for the best, but it's just an odd thing to like. Why double up on spirits?
Yeah, doubling down.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just so that you can move next door and be like, back in my day.
And it all comes full circle. We've got a lovely little spa center for your nana and papa. We've got a babbling brook. We've got a hot stone massage. You decide the temperature, and also choose your own voltage ECD.
If you just want a little kiss, you can do.
Oh my gosh, those ends are flying a little flat. Let's prop them up. Let's give you about 15 volts. There you go. Oh my goodness, that car has got some body.
You're welcome. What just happened? That's what happens. Goodbye. All right. So even after renovations, rumors of ghostly activity remain. The Eloise is considered to be one of the most haunted places in America, and is probably the most haunted place in Michigan. There is even a horror movie about the place released in 2016, directed by Robert Legato, about it, called Eloise. Critics called it slick but thoroughly uninspired, barely watchable, generic and painfully ineffective. A horror movie of such ineptitude that it invites sympathy for even its least gifted participants.
Robert Legato is a customer service rep now at Kohl's.
He's like, I made a movie.
After those reviews, he's like, nah, I'm gonna go work at Kohl's.
I gotta just work at my level.
My auntie is the manager. She can get me in.
He needs a recommendation. And even they're like, I don't know. I saw Eloise.
Even his aunt is like, keep Eloise off your application. Okay, don't mention that.
I don't want to hear the word Eloise out of your mouth. First of all, you're disowned if I hear it again. You were already on thin ice. If the movie doesn't scare you, a visit here likely will, especially after the rumor that some who trespassed and explored this place discovered jars of human body parts
Where? Here. Not in my house, right?
Not in your house.
What if they follow me? I'm so freaked out about this.
Well, what if we find jars of body parts?
Well, thankfully, we live in a generation of Instagram, and we will share it with the world.
Exactly. Imagine all the karma. Oh, karma's not a thing anymore, I guess.
Hashtag cadaver.
Hashtag living our best life. Hashtag summer 2019.
Hashtag living our best life. Hashtag they're not anymore.
At least we are. Fuck the dead. Okay, great. I just want to do whatever we can to just definitely get haunted.
We're doing enough right now to just spend the rest of our days in this elevator and not be able to get out.
We're fucked for sure.
You move that light and the shadows shift. It is so fucking creepy.
Yeah. All right, great. People also found creepy photographs of patients in abandoned buildings, as well as documents that describe strange and haunting medical procedures. There have been frequent reports of phantom sounds here as well, including moans, screams, and roars. The roars intrigue me the most. Mm-hmm. Who's roaring in this place?
I wonder if that is just somebody going to synonyms for moans. You know what I mean?
They were roaring.
Yeah. Roar could also be laughter, like maniacal laughter.
Oh, fuck
that would be a roar.
Yeah.
Get out of town.
Yeah, that would be too much for sure. I feel like the sound that we heard though, that's like a car or a train coming by.
Yeah.
Or an airplane. That's an airplane.
Yeah, but there was a noise beneath that noise for a second.
I feel like the one that we heard of the water going through the pipes.
Look at that graffiti.
Oh, I've been looking at it the whole time.
Oh,
it's like
God,
right across. It's like a graffiti
creepy.
of like the devil.
Yeah.
Staring right at us.
Oh my God.
But the water going through the pipe sound is intriguing me because water doesn't run. Like clearly the sinks don't work.
Yeah.
I mean, we should try to turn one on and see if it does. But like, I don't think it does.
Blood.
Yeah. It's just coagulated blood somehow still like just plopping around through the...
That would be the exact noise it would make too. Oh, could you imagine the oozing out of the faucet?
The blood?
Oh, yeah.
It would have to...
Gross.
I mean, dude, it's all been exposed... I'm a phlebotomist.
Yeah.
It's been exposed to air. It'd be clumps of... It'd be hard to even let it drop out.
So it would be a lot of... it would be like really curdled milk coming out of the carton.
Yeah, like dark, like almost black.
Oh.
All right. Like most old psychiatric hospitals, the Eloise subjected patients to treatment that today would be called inhumane. Dormitory rooms were 15 feet long and 10 feet wide, and some had barred windows and a hole to see into the hallway that was merely the size of a Post-it note. Nurses lived right down the hall.
Those kids in those cages think they got it bad.
Oh, God. Let's not go there. He's like, those spoiled kids in cages.
I thought about it and I was like, I'm going to take a swing.
You know what? I'm doing it. You're like, I'm a white male.
We're in a cage right now.
It was like the same thing. I've been through the same thing. That's okay. All right. Nurses lived right down the hall, and patients had very little freedom. They were not even allowed to control the temperatures of the showers or even operate the handles of flush toilets. Or two flush toilets. I don't think there's toilets that don't flush. Well, that's not true. There are.
Yeah, you gotta earn
You have
treats.
to prove that you deserve it.
Yeah.
You
gotta put your time in over at that bakery. Yeah. You gotta perfectly place those.
Flush your own toilet.
You gotta perfectly place those cherries on top of that, and then you can flush your own toilet.
People working at the bakery that don't flush their toilets.
They're not flushing their toilets. They're not washing their hands, and now we know why a lot of people die. Dysentery.
It's like the Oregon Trail. All right.
That's why I always chose banker and not baker.
Yes, absolutely. Good choice. And
you should have chose the doctor.
Especially if you're in 4th grade and you're about to play the Oregon Trail, write that down.
Yeah. I want to see what Oregon Trail's like now. It's got to be so much better than when we played it.
Oh, no, that's an airplane again.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, how many airplanes?
We're pretty close to the Detroit airport.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of stuff's coming down. We're probably about 10 minutes away.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't think kids still play the Oregon Trail.
That's a shame.
Do they? I mean,
kids don't play the Oregon Trail, and they don't learn cursive anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How old are your daughters?
8 and 6.
8 and 6.
Yeah.
So the 8-year-old...
The 8-year-old loves to do that maniacal laugh, too. She loves it.
You're going to have such a hard time when you come home.
Ugh. I already have a hard time with it. She does it all the time. It's so creepy. And my youngest, like I said, she hums in her sleep. It's so eerie.
So weird. So how did you find that out, that she's humming in her sleep? Were you in your life
I woke up in a dead panic hearing this noise. I live in a house that's built in 1850. I wake up hearing this humming. I'm like, I should wake my wife. I'm like, do you hear that? Do you hear that? She's like, what? No. And I'm like, I keep the stick next to our bed because I feel like I have to protect our family. So I get up and I'm going and
Wait,
I'm like,
you keep a stick?
Yeah.
Like from the yard?
No, like a metal stick that duels as a flashlight. We won't keep a gun in our house, but I'll keep middle-aged weapons.
You're gonna bludgeon the shit out of anybody who's in. I thought it was like a little stick from
It's got a strobe feature. I've already thought it all out. I've got the stick. I do the strobe feature. I disorient them. Boom, done.
Yeah. You're like, I'm begging for it. I hope they come.
So I'm walking through and I'm trying to figure it out. I almost brought the stick tonight too because it is a terrific flashlight.
Yeah.
But and I was like, I hear this humming. It's not going away. I know I'm hearing it at this point. And then I walk in and it's just this precious little angel having a beautiful dream, probably about unicorns.
And she's like, ew.
It was creepy, but like also I was like, God, I love her.
Yeah, definitely. And like more so now.
Yeah.
You're like, you're creepy as shit. And I love it.
When I told her about it the other day, she doubled, like when I told her about it after that like night, that day, she doubled down on it. And they have such dark sense of humor. And she's like, oh no, I was in a graveyard. And she was just going with like the darkest stuff she knew. It was
yeah.
It was great.
She's like, Daddy, that wasn't me, honey. That was my friend Eloise. That was Eloise.
It came from my body, but I'm not in my body in the nighttime.
You're like, I heard you humming. You're like, I know, I saw you come in. I was singing for you, Daddy.
Didn't you feel that prickle on the back of your neck? That was me warning you. It's time to go.
The next time you feel that, you'll know that I'm watching.
I think we're aggravating something.
Why?
I don't know. It just feels like it.
Or these spirits are like getting ideas from your daughter.
I know. It's like the foreman of the spirits is just like, see, I told you, we got things we can learn from the living.
These are
that's why children get possessed. That's because they're so susceptible.
Yes. Oh, dude, this is actually like a really old, this like, whatever this is in here. Look how old it is.
You can't kick things without telling me it's about to make a sound. I thought we were about to move.
Look at how old the wheels are of this. I thought at first that this was one of those things where like they take stuff into like a grocery store or something, like freight or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is like
old
a
dolly?
really, really old dolly or something. Cool. All right. At one point, a strange and unusual form of hydrotherapy treatment was administered to the patients. Evidence of these treatments can be found on the 5th floor men's psych ward, where a room is inhabited by a single bathtub in the middle of the room. In a brutal attempt to treat conditions such as anxiety, alcoholism, and depression, patients would be subjected to different water temperatures in order to shock them. You're anxious? How would you like to sit in a bathtub and have no idea what kind of extreme temperature you're about to be subjected to?
Yeah, and does it just drop down upon you to fill the tub immediately?
I think they would just turn it on and it, like, you just don't know, or they drop them
like
into
an ice
the water.
cold shower for a passed out drunk person?
Kind of, except they're just anxious.
Yeah.
they're just like me.
I really thought you were gonna say it was like some form of medically okayed waterboarding.
It's like, yeah, well, it is like torture. It's not waterboarding, but it is like a type of psychological and physical torture. Thus, after the Great Depression, the population of the Eloise began to decrease after reports of violence, questionable conditions, misconduct, and overall neglect started arising about the facility. Which I know is shocking since it's an old psych asylum, but believe it. Walking through the complex when it was abandoned was truly creepy. So when I wrote this, I didn't actually realize it was still abandoned like it is right now. So I wrote that it was truly creepy. For listeners, it is still abandoned and it is creepy as shit.
Creepy as hell.
Nearly every window is broken, and the soap dispensers, we haven't seen this yet, the soap dispensers in the bathrooms are still filled with soap that hasn't been used since 1979.
We should use some.
Yeah, we definitely should. Photos were put up in the now dilapidated hallways depicting what the place looked like when it was occupied. I think these were moved over to a museum.
Okay.
Black and white photos showed patients in straitjackets. Some photos showed patients gathered around to watch television, doctors operating on patients, and staff with melancholy expressions. Left behind were two large... What?
I just imagine the staff was like taking the patient's medication. Like they were all zonked out watching early episodes of Jenny Jones. And I don't know why that's the only, obviously that show wasn't on at the time, but something like that.
Yeah. And they're just like, whatever, I don't feel anything anymore.
Just hee-haw.
Yeah, exactly. Left behind were two large medicine cabinets and oxygen tanks, even a dental chair from one of the two dental stations in each of the men and women's wards, and the lingering, nauseating smell of antiseptic among the dusty ruins.
I am legit seeing shadows.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it from me moving the light?
I would say most of them were, but the last one I saw was creepy. I like to the point where I had to move so I couldn't see it. That was creepy.
What was it? Why was it?
It was a figure. Like.
Was it my shadow?
No. It was something of broad shoulders. It was creepy.
Was it in this room?
No, it was in that room back there.
Oh, shit.
It was because it was a shadow and I was looking at it and then it was just not there. So maybe my mind is playing tricks on me, but I saw something and it made me uneasy.
How are you feeling right now?
I want to know.
Yeah, so you're curious.
I'm curious.
So that's cool that I think you respond to paranormal like I do, where it's like, yeah, it's scary, but it's fucking awesome.
But it's
and I'm
here.
Curious.
Yeah. I'm not gonna treat it as if it didn't happen.
Okay, you were the right comic to take here, I think. Yeah, because if you were like, I have to leave, I would respect you, but I'd also be like, fuck.
No, wait, there's a really dark room back there.
Was it? Did you see it in like?
I saw it in that room across the way. Like, do you see where that door is, and then the wall starts?
Right across from us?
Yeah, that's the deep door though. Do you see the deep door?
At the end of the hall?
Yeah, so in the wall, there was a figure and like broad-shouldered right in between where the door is and the wall is, and then it just vanished.
Holy shit. That's actually something people see here. There's a picture on the Detroit Paranormal Expeditions website that someone took a picture of literally, I think it's in that room too, because that's where like they would have eaten their meals. And it's like a broad-figured shadow sitting in one of the chairs. Yeah,
that was creepy as hell. And then you said that's something people see, and I felt chills that weren't chills. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's we'll have to ask Jeff when we go upstairs. But you can, when you look at their website, you can see that picture.
Yeah.
And I think it's literally in that room. We should look after this.
Yeah, like when we're outside underneath the moon.
Yeah, when we're done. Don't forget, because I really want to see if it's in that same room. Because I think it is. Because I saw it online before we came here. That's awesome. When the Detroit Paranormal Expeditions team cleaned the hallways of the Eloise, they left an empty hallway only to return to find a walker sitting inexplicably in the middle of the hall, leaving them with the exciting yet somewhat sickly feeling that they were not alone. Kind of like how we feel right now.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Hauntings are most frequently reported on the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th floors. That's where we're headed after this.
Okay.
But also a lot of the hauntings are reported in the basement, and when they used to do tours, people weren't allowed in the basement, and we are in the basement currently.
Yeah.
So a lot of the hauntings
we closed ourselves into a cage. That's what we decided to do.
Literally caged ourselves. We're like,
hey, you know that place where we wouldn't let the public when we were giving tours? Why don't we just cage ourselves into the smallest corner of it? Let's do that.
Let's make ourselves as vulnerable as possible. Perfect. Okay, in March of this year, ghost hunters from the Detroit Paranormal Expeditions had the chance to explore the basement. March of this year.
Oh boy.
April, May, June, July. So as the time of this recording, about 4 months ago was the first time the expeditions have come down here. So that's why the reports of hauntings are more infrequent so far, because it's only been 4 months that people have been down here.
Yeah.
Which is why I requested to come down.
Yeah.
In March, I just said that. The basement has been closed off for decades because it was previously flooded, but recently has been drained. Jeff Atkins, a co-founder of the group and the guy leading our tour tonight, says the basement was one of the most eerily quiet places he's ever visited. He told the Detroit Free Press that as he carefully explored the basement, he could hear water dripping and what sounded like shuffling footsteps. We heard the water.
Yeah, we definitely heard the water.
That's another plane.
That's another plane, yeah.
But the water we literally heard, and I don't think there's water running through these pipes, which is very cool. Okay, we're almost done. Most of the times when a place floods, the water eventually leaves. It's actually unclear why the basement down here just remained flooded.
You know what? And for it having been recently drained, it is, I mean, there's a must, but it's not as musty as you think it would be.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that until I just reread that. When he first came down here after the basement had been drained, Adkins described the scene as something resembling what you'd see in a shipwreck, a long-forgotten, well-preserved place with clinging sediment, which is exactly what it looks like, I think. Like, I totally see what he meant. Especially with, like, the chipping paint and everything. When a ghost hunter walked through the abandoned facility and recorded video with his phone, he caught an EVP that he hadn't heard while he was there. He just later heard it when he played it back. When he played back the video on his phone, he heard a voice say, "What's that?" Then shortly after, the voice repeated in a much more frustrated tone, "What's that?" On a separate occasion, an EVP was caught in this place of a man asking, "Who is that man?" So I hope at the end of this we have like little voices and shit. And by the way, listeners, if you're listening and you have the volume turned all the way up and you hear something, email us and let us know, because we might not have caught it. So that's always awesome. We like to hear that shit. Yet another EVP was caught by Todd of Detroit Paranormal Expeditions during an investigation. In the recording, he says, "Hello?" And in response, he heard the sound of a woman humming, like much like your daughter while she sleeps. This is not something Todd had heard at the time of his recording. These are only a couple of several EVPs caught at the Eloise. At one point, one of the ghost hunters visiting the location asked, "Are you crazy?" Which is kind of a mean thing to ask at an asylum.
Who asked that?
One of the ghost hunters asked it.
I think that it's just such an expression where it's like, I mean, but when you ask it here, there's no downplaying the "are you crazy?" Like, you're genuinely asking. That is a terrible question to ask.
Yeah, it's not a nice thing to do.
So insensitive.
Like, no offense, Detroit Paranormal Expeditions, but I read that and I was like, woof. But an EVP responded exactly how I would and said, "Yeah, maybe." Which I feel like if I died in an asylum and someone was like, "Are you crazy?" I'd be like, "Fuck it, probably." If
I died in an asylum, the only EVP you'd catch from me was, "I belonged in the sanitarium."
You'd be like, I was almost better. My shit was looking up.
No one baked cakes like me.
I never flushed the toilet.
Zach, you worked in the cannery.
He's crazy.
Maybe.
All right. You can actually listen to these EVPs for yourself on their website, DetroitParanormalExpeditions.com. And it's expedition with an S at the end. So DetroitParanormalExpeditions.com. I recommend that you do, because EVPs are generally controversial and it's something that you should listen to for yourself and just see what you think. Disembodied voices are not uncommon in the Eloise, nor is the sound of footsteps, doors closing, and objects moving, as well as the occasional mysterious lights and orbs. A Chicago-based paranormal hunting duo posted a video in 2012 on YouTube of what they claim to be a flying ghost caught on the Eloise, or at the Eloise. I saw it and it's like really quick. It's hard to see what it is. Photos have been taken while lucky guests have had the chance to come on tours here as well. There are several photos of shadows and apparent phantoms from these tours. That's what I was talking about when I was like, I saw like a shadow figure in a photo. What you just saw. Yeah. There's a photo of it online. So I wonder if you'll look at it and be like, "Oh my God, that's the thing."
I won't forget it. If I had to describe what it looked like, the silhouette, the body looked like Mickey Rourke in Sin City.
Okay, yeah, I can totally see it.
That's the vibe I got.
Just a very like broad-shouldered. Yeah. Even ghost hunters admit that they have fled the scene in terror when visiting the Eloise, Todd included. One such time, ghost hunters came down here when they heard a loud crash behind them. They announced to the angry spirit that they were leaving, but not before they noticed a vinyl record being lifted from the shelf by an invisible force and smashing against the floor. While the Eloise is an awesome place to check out, this is not a place for the curious to cut corners. If you trespass at the Eloise without express consent to be here, you will be arrested on site. Don't worry though, you can always check out our Instagram for pictures that accompany this episode. Plus, keep your eyes peeled for the rare event of a guided tour through the Eloise by the Detroit Paranormal Expeditions. You may get lucky.
You may get to go down to the basement.
Well, I don't know if they'll do that. But currently there's not plans for another tour for a while, but they're always trying to petition to do one.
Yeah.
So if you keep an eye out and you see, if you live in this area and you just keep checking, I'm sure you'll see a tour come up, hopefully, again, and you'll get the chance to kind of walk through it. But if you don't, you can listen to this episode and walk through it with us because we are about to go do the real nitty-gritty.
Go check it out. I'll have you open. I'll take a picture of you opening that.
Oh, God.
Because it's crazy.
I am like laughably weak. Ready?
Uh-huh.
Oh, just kidding. I did it. For a second, I was afraid I wouldn't be like able to.
Why would I take a picture of you doing something that requires movement? Why is that not a video?
Yeah, I know.
I want to go in here.
Yeah, okay. So we're entering the room where
There's
you
couches
saw
and shit.
the shadow.
Oh, those
person.
are 80s couches, though.
Oh, yeah, those can't be haunted. They're from the 80s. So where exactly was the shadow?
It was like right here. It was like right. So,
do
see my hand?
Do you want to do a thing?
Yeah, sure. But do you see my hand?
Yeah.
It was like half and half, as far as the shadow goes. But if you look at the shadow of on the wall.
Right there?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
It was half and half. So like, there was color differentiation. You know?
Yeah.
That's where I saw it.
Oh my God, that's cool.
What thing do you want to do?
Well, I've never done this, I don't think. But I was thinking we could do that thing where you ask a ghost a question. And then my producer will tell me if they answered.
Okay.
Probably they won't. But
maybe do you want to do it without Jeff, or do you want to do it right here?
Let's do it right here. This is where you saw a spirit.
Okay.
So do you have any idea of what you'd want to ask the spirit you just saw?
What do you do to pass the time? And how long have you been here? And realistically, I would imagine you were a patient here, but if I'm wrong, did you work here?
If you are here, will you bang on a pipe so we can hear you?
Or make any sound at all?
Okay, let's go catch up with Jeff and his girlfriend. I don't want to leave him waiting. Well, for listeners, we didn't hear any responses to anything, but if you did, that's cool. Oh, up here probably.
Oh, yeah. Is he out here?
Oh, is he out here?
I think this was where the car was.
I thought he was upstairs. Just. Oh, hi. We're ready. Yeah. If that's cool with you.
How was it?
He saw a figure.
In that room across from the elevator.
Yeah.
We recorded in the elevator.
Yeah.
And I saw a figure.
Were
Like
you
a
in
shadow
the
figure.
elevator down here?
Yeah, and we had shut the gate and kind of like enclosed ourselves in there. And we were sitting down, and I couldn't I just can't sit still. I'm anxious like that. So I was kind of pacing, and then I stood by the gate a little bit, and I was looking at the room across from the elevator.
Yeah.
And there was like a broad figure.
Male
Really?
figure.
I would imagine male. Yeah, broad. And then as soon as I'm looking, as clear as I'm looking at you, it was just there and then not there.
That's fucking
like
awesome.
an instant.
That's awesome.
I know. I actually saw a picture online of like a shadow figure sitting. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's right here. I can show you.
Oh, was that up here? Oh, I was wondering if it was in the same room. He just saw someone.
No, what you're talking about is the first floor. We've had a lot of shit.
Oh, that's right, because you didn't have tours down in the basement, right?
Not so recently.
Oh, okay.
This year we did the original tours that ran from late September last year up until early November. Those did not have a basement, but this one did. The picture you're talking about was taken from right
Oh,
here.
yeah, this looks right, where you could see the chair. What the fuck is that bunny doing right there?
Exactly.
Did you put that there?
Yeah, we put it there.
Oh.
What the fuck is right? That's what we were going for.
Okay, great. Zach, careful, there's a bunny.
That's creepy as. Who put that there?
He did.
Yeah.
So this was the picture where I saw the shadow figure.
Yep.
It's in the
Was
back.
this like a common area?
This was so in the early days, I don't really know what was in this space exactly, but these big rooms like this, each floor has got 2 of them right across from each other. Those were ward dormitories. So most of your patients were in there. They had lots of beds and rows and rows of beds in here. Probably like 50 patients or so per room.
So this was, okay.
There was no privacy.
Is there water running through? Is there like water still active?
Because we heard water going through a pipe.
Well, there's no plumbing here.
That's what I thought. That's what I was thinking.
It was
Absolutely no plumbing.
It was something we both heard and
Yeah.
can
Now, it
identify.
could have been like a rat running through a pipe, maybe. I don't know.
But it wasn't
No,
like
it wasn't. It
skittering.
was certainly like a
Water
like a
sound.
tapping. Like it wasn't shuffling. It wasn't feet. It was something moving through a pipe.
I don't know.
Which I could, if in the elevator, we could actually like recreate the sound
Yeah.
Yeah,
because there
we
was a
did
pipe in there.
Yeah.
It was just creepy.
Yeah.
Super duper creepy.
Unless it's coming down from the roof or something, but there's no plumbing here at all.
Oh, is this that broken record I heard about?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh shit!
That flew off of a cabinet upstairs.
That I talked
And it's
about that
called
in
The
my
Youth
notes.
of Today. The Youth of Today is broken.
Yep.
That's eerie.
Whoa.
Yep,
So
that
this
thing-
is the record that flew off the
that's-
shelf by a ghost.
That thing flew off of a shelf. Well, it was a filing cabinet. So on the 3rd floor, there was a whole bunch of stuff up there in one part of the floor. We've since cleaned it out and moved the stuff out of there so it's not so concentrated. But this was sitting on top of a filing cabinet, and it flew off probably, I would say, at least 6 to 8 feet, hit the ground hard enough to break a piece off of it, and shot down the hallway probably another 10 to 15 feet. I was on the 4th floor, and I heard this happen on the 3rd floor. It was
Yeah.
loud enough, and I heard Brandy on our team screamed, and I ran down there and saw it sitting there.
Oh man.
These
Do
are the
a
lights that
photo.
would have been in the dorms right there.
Oh, okay.
Lights there. These are some X-rays that actually say Eloise on them. You probably can't see it super well.
Oh yeah.
The light sucks. The top right corner. This is March 1982. It says Eloise right there. It's kind of faint.
That's awesome.
Just fell down.
So yeah, I actually included that in my story about the record that flew off. So
Oh,
you were
yeah?
here when that happened.
I was. Yep. I was, and we've got all kinds of interesting pictures out of this room. There's a lady on the tour who took a picture in that mirror, and
I just took one.
And there's 2 like black figures to her left. And
What?
She says the room was empty. If it was not people, then I could be a shadow figure, you know?
Yeah.
So that happened. My sister and brother-in-law, when they were here, they took a picture in the back of his shirt. It looked seriously like the face of an old man. Like,
Oh,
on his
weird.
back. Yeah. This room seems to have a lot of shit going on.
Yeah. I'm excited to see. Did you look at the mirror picture, or are you going to look at them all later?
Don't look at them all later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
take a bunch of pictures and look at them all.
For sure.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Surprised to see the stuff you find. This was the second floor. This one was used by Wayne County as well up until August of 2016. So that's why
Okay.
it looks more modern.
Uh-huh.
But this was a patient floor too. There were geriatric females on this floor actually. And if you look down here, they've got like it's almost like a little salon or something where it's got like that divot in the middle of the sink.
Oh
The
yeah.
salon you were
For,
talking
like,
about.
Yeah.
Hair washing. Yeah.
Oh man.
Good.
Just-
Here's another picture that was captured on one of our tours, actually. And I've actually captured this in another instance, too. This is looking down this hallway.
Oh my
You see
god.
this like black silhouette right here?
Uh-huh.
Dude, that's not even. There's no mistaking that.
I've tried I've played with the brightness and the exposure and everything. I cannot make out anything like clothing or anything.
Yeah.
She says that there was nobody in this hallway when this was taken.
Oh my god. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Got a picture of Robert Porsche in here. I like that very much. Oh, and Luther Ellis. Oh, but also no one comes in here. This is a lot of cobwebs in here. What are these? These are dorms?
These were
Doctor's offices?
Yeah, and wasn't this also used by the Wayne County?
Mm-hmm. This was used by Wayne County as well.
You can see, look at the cobwebs on the chairs and shit.
So we were investigating.
That chair just sitting in the middle of the room is
It's so creepy.
We were investigating here because of that shadow.
Yeah.
We have like an IR camera, infrared, and I was painting to the right, and it's super faint. But I captured on video this shadow at the end of this hallway moving from left to right. It's really faint, but I played kind of with the brightness and stuff and kind of moved it back and forth. But watch like really closely,
right in the middle,
like right where that window is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely see that.
Yeah.
You see it move like left to
Yeah.
right there?
Yeah. Do you mind sending me some of these?
Yeah.
Sweet.
The last one's probably the clearest. But I tried playing with the contrast and stuff because I was sitting there. We were sitting right here on the floor. We're all sitting down. And I'm panning from left to right. And it was like not because I saw it, but as I was panning, I saw this thing go like right across the hallway.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be in the video.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Have you sold that to anyone?
That clip?
Yeah. Like, don't you guys work with like Travel Channel and stuff?
Yeah, we do. We've not. That is too recent.
Really?
We filmed here for a show that's going to be out in December. But we can go down somewhere. But we haven't.
Oh yeah, just like last week.
This was probably about 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, I guess last week you guys did the 6th precinct.
Yeah,
I'm doing that tomorrow.
Travel there. America's most terrifying places. So these were dorms. They look way different now than when patients were here, but they had just probably about 50 beds or so on each side, rows and rows of beds. There was no.
Oh, so that wall wasn't there?
No.
No.
No, but you can see in the upper floors they look a lot more original with how they looked back in the day.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing that. That's what I'm like stoked on.
The travel stuff?
No, the upstairs stuff more preserved.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'll watch you guys on Travel Channel too.
Yeah. Well, there might be more coming out. Let's see. I got some things in the works.
Oh, cool. But I was saying, that's cool that nobody's seen that shadow video you just showed me. I could throw that on our Instagram even, if I can figure out how to do it.
I put it in it's in a video that I posted, but it's so subtle that I think a lot of people don't look at it long enough to really pick that out.
Is it on your guys' website right now?
Facebook page,
On your Facebook page. Because I saw all the
I'm so glad I saw you go in that room.
Yeah, I got it.
Otherwise, I would have lost it.
So this is one of the patient floors too. So that was geriatric
I want to take a
females.
picture of this here.
This was geriatric male patients. And then in the later years, they did like women's health stuff here, STI testing, pregnancy testing, things like that.
Yeah.
But the layout of 3, 4, and 5, and probably 2 back in the day is very similar. You had your nurses station right here, and then these individual rooms on each side of this hallway were seclusion rooms. The patients had to be secluded because they were violent or whatever. That's where they went. At the end of the hallways, they had these rooms that kind of like tee off. Those were what were called porch rooms. So the patients could go there. They had like plants in there. They could pretty much get some sunlight without going outside.
Yeah. All the like no smoking signs. This is a weird just picture frame. Did someone cut out the picture that was in here?
Yeah.
What a bunch of bitches.
Yeah, they did all kinds of shit things broken. But the upper floors got vandalized a lot less.
Yeah, because it's like if you broke in, you probably don't think you should be here too long.
Well, I think Wayne County left so much crap on the first and second floor, the kids wanted to just throw like paint and shit like that around, which is what they did.
Yeah.
This is an interesting little tidbit about this place. So you'll notice the patient bathrooms, like the toilets didn't have flushers, so they were all just up a little bit like this, and they had this rod that went into the wall. So whenever the patient sat, it would go down, then they stood up, it would go back into the wall, and then it would flush automatically. So they took that part out of the equation for the patients.
Really?
Yep. And like in the non-patient areas, the toilets were normal though, so like where the staff lived and stuff like that.
Is that just because I put that in my notes too, but why would they not be allowed to flush their own toilets? Is that because they couldn't be trusted to do it?
I don't think it was necessarily that they couldn't do it. I think it was like a lot of them didn't have the presence of mind to do it.
So they're like, let's cut out the middleman here.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty
All
much.
right. That makes a little more sense.
Kind of like on a similar note, like the showers for the patients don't have the controls inside of it. So
for the heat.
I'll show you one in a second, but they just basically have like a handle so they don't fall.
Yeah.
But then the controls are on the wall, so like the nurses control the water temp.
Well, so I also put in my notes about the hydrotherapy stuff of like the uncontrolled. How are we going to see that room with the
floor,
hell yeah?
Each
Wait, let me take a picture of this with the flashlight on it because it looks so rad.
Each floor had a hydrotherapy tub. The 5th floor is the only one that still got it.
Okay, we did it. Yeah, because I did talk about that some, and I have some questions when we get up there. I'll ask you.
This is
where the record thing happened. So these filing cabinets were right here. You see in the video that Brandy posted. The record, it went from here, and it was right about here. So it had gone about 5 or 6 feet.
Yeah.
The piece, so the record's sitting here. The piece that I found was about this big, and the piece was down here.
Oh my God.
So it hit and broke and shot down.
And like hit that hard to do that.
I mean, it was loud. It didn't fall. That was like boom, like force
behind it.
Yeah. So these were what were considered day rooms. This wall was not here when patients were here. This was all open. They had tables and chairs, a television set on top of that shelf, and then back through here was their dining room. So each floor still got these signs that say, please wash your hands.
Oh my God, yeah.
And then back here they had they would eat.
back before the days of lamination.
Yep.
We'll just drill it into the wall.
I hope you had so much fun exploring the Eloise Asylum in Detroit with Zach Martina and me. I can't believe how much fun we had there. I'm so excited that Zach actually saw a shadow figure in that awesomely creepy place. Make sure to look for Zach's album Skunk Man on iTunes. All of his stand-up dates can be found on his website, zachmartina.com. You can also find Zach on social media and YouTube. He's most active on his Instagram with the handle @Zach.Martina. That's @ZACH.MARTINA. While you're at it, check us out on social media too. You can find us with the handle @LitDarkPodcast. That's @LITDARK Podcast. Or visit our website at litdarkpodcast.com to see what's new, check out our merch items, or just say hello using our Contact Us form. I love it when you guys say hello. Special thanks for this episode goes to Jeff Adkins from the Detroit Paranormal Expeditions, my producer, Randall Lawrence in Cranival Studios, Jonathan Cooper, my graphic designer, Sarah Schneider, my manager, and of course, all of you for listening. I'll see you next week right here on Laughing in the Dark.
Sources used for episode 19 of Laughing in the Dark include the Detroit News, Mental Health America, Wikipedia, The Guardian, Rotten Tomatoes, The Dictionary, Mirror.co.uk, Detroit Paranormal Expeditions, Believe, a Paranormal Experience on YouTube, the Detroit Free Press, and Click on Detroit.
Laughing in the Dark is brought to you in part by Heck Yeah Studio. Heck Yeah Studio is a creative effort working with people to create meaningful things. At Heck Yeah Studio, they work with clients to turn their ideas or existing brands into real or better versions. Heck Yeah Studio is the place to go for custom illustration for a full range of branding services, like killer logos, great colors and typography, and fun illustrations for pins, signs, prints, shirts, vehicles, posters, or anything you can imagine. At Heck Yeah Studio, they work with love. Their dream client is someone who is passionate about what they do. At Laughing in the Dark, Heck Yeah Studio has designed our logo, all of our merch, and any posters or stickers that we have. I am so proud and lucky to work with such an awesome company, and I could not recommend them higher.